is the writer-director of Teenage Kicks. We've been working together for close to 4 or 5 years now. This particular feature film has come from a short film called Drowning, which has screened all over the world. Between the two of us, our short films have screened in over 500 festivals around the world. Craig himself is one of the unique filmmakers that already with his short films has had 2 retrospectives. One has been in Spain and the other in the US. Now his debut feature film's so close to getting made that we need your help to get it over the line.
Teenage Kicks is based on a short film that we made a couple of years ago called Drowning, but was always intended to be a feature film. Now we've come back to the project and we're ready to tell the full story. It's the summer of his 17th year and Miklos Varga's world has come tumbling down. His plan to escape his claustrophobic family and start a new life with his best friend Dan has been completely undone by the unexpected death of his older brother Tommy. Only Mick knows the events that led to his brother's death, and as far as he can see, there's only one person to blame, and that's himself. He is suddenly torn between his desire to start a new life with his best friend Dan and the familial obligation to fix his broken family. Torn between the life that he wants to have and the life that he feels he is expected to have. Teenage Kicks is a journey through the minefield of adolescence as Mick struggles to come to terms with his guilt and his explosive sexuality to become the man that he wants to become. Mick is a really fun lead character to play with. He's not your typical male lead. He has a very fluid and ambidextrous sexuality that he's only just learning how to take control of. He's finding his way in a world that's become quite difficult for him, but he's also a lot of fun to be with, and you're really going to enjoy going on the ride with him. Mick will be played by young actor Miles Szanto, who also played him in the short film. Miles is a great young talent. He's really sensitive to the material and he can bring a lot to it, and I'm really looking forward to working with him.
I think besides this film being a wonderful, wonderful story, I think it's also a really important one. I think one of the major roles of a filmmaker is to let people know that they aren't alone in what they're going through, and I think this film has a real ability to let people know that. Craig deals with themes of loss and grief and being on the edge of your life, unsure how to move forward, so richly and in a way that is so honest and raw but also hopeful, which I think is really quite rare. I know a lot of the cinema that I've seen with young people, I don't quite identify with the young characters in the films. Craig so specifically deals with young people and writes for them so well. But also the themes are so universal. Everyone's been young at some point and knows what it feels like to be terrified of how to move forward and forge a path for yourself that's your own.
I'm really excited to be in a position where I can work with Bonnie Elliott, our cinematographer, again. We've been working together for a long time now and I really enjoy collaborating with her. She's such an artist.
We have such a thorough investigation of the visual language of the story, finding the language of the film, which is a really important thing, and the world of the film. And I think that, if you don't do that, you don't come up with images that have depth, they just have a glossy surface.
Teenage Kicks is a story about that moment in your life where you transition from a teenager to an adult. It's an explosive time. It's a time where your sexuality is born. It's a time when the world can turn on its head in a single day and everything is extremely dramatic. You're invincible and you can make terrible decisions minute by minute.
The thing I really love about working with Craig is that his films always come from a very personal place and they always reflect sort of his worldview, and that's a very unique perspective that he offers. When I first started my master's degree at AFTRS, Jane Camping came in one day to show us a selection of short films, and then she said, I just happened to look through a whole lot of short films that I got from Screen New South Wales, and I came upon this one and I really loved it because it had such a distinctive personal voice. And that film was Transient, which was Craig's film that I shot. But it travelled quite widely, the film, went to Berlin, and it's a very personal film. Craig's actually in the film, acting in it, and it's a brave, risky thing to do as a filmmaker, to put yourself on the line to that degree. But it pays off in the film because it really speaks to audiences.
Teenage Kicks is like the embodiment of being a teenager in Sydney in summer. It's hot, it's sun, skin, sea, it's dramatic, it's turbulent, and before you know it, it's over and you're on the other side.
There's something really fragile and beautiful about that time in a young person's life, and trying to capture that visually on screen is a really exciting proposition. The setting being summer and this kind of period of your life when you're waiting to find out how you went in your exams and waiting to find out where life would lead you. And summer is this kind of little reprieve or this time where things are possible. But it's also quite a dark time in Nick's life because so many difficult things have happened. There's a really interesting tension between the brightness of summer in Australia and this kind of dark story unfolding in Nick's life.
We've been lucky enough to have the support of Screen Australia in the production of the short film Drowning, and we also had Screen New South Wales assist with our development of the feature script, and we really feel like the film is ready to shoot right now.
This is your opportunity to change the scene of the film industry. If you feel passionately about the films that are being made or the stories that are being told, this is your chance to change that, to get something made that you believe in.
To get us over the line, we need $200,000. What we've decided to do is set our Pozible target at 1/3 of that, which is $67,000. But we know if we're fortunate enough that 2,000 people decide to give us $100 each, that would get us over the line. So please be a part of something. Be a part of Teenage Kicks.
If you'd like to see a uniquely Australian story from a different point of view, donate.
If you've ever felt lost, donate.
If you've ever felt like you had a guilty secret, donate.
If you want to see a new film from a distinctive Australian filmmaker, donate to this film.